Man, my data just ran out.
Here, you can use my phone.
Thank you. Come on, man. My data finished again.
Relax, honey. You can always use mine.
Wait, how come you always have so much data?
I told you I switched to Tele mobile postpaid plans. Those plans come with plenty of data, so I will never run out of data again.
Okay, well, why don't you come over here and show me more about these plans? Because I'm about to switch to Telem data now.
Politricks Tuesday! And of course, we got...
I got on my glasses today, Andrew. Things hot. So, yeah.
we got Cressburg Brown in the house.
I gotta put on the specs, Andrew.
He put on the specs.
Yeah.
Oh, he brought the receipts.
More than receipts.
Politricks Tuesday, of course, and we are here for another edition. I'm gonna give him to start. Oh wait, before you start, before I tag him in, let me just give you the latest. So, two things. This past weekend, the United People's Party held their reveal of 18 candidates. So that took place, and also we get to learn who were the candidates. A special congratulations going out to MP La Cruz, who is the deputy leader of the United People's Party. Remember, we were thinking, who would be the leader? Who would be the leader? Would it be the former leader? No, that wouldn't make any sense, right? From leader to deputy leader, that would be like a demotion. It's like almost not getting elected. Huh. Okay, no, in any so in any case,
Fix your car.
fix the car.
Fix the car now.
So in any case, congratulations, MP La Cruz, for being the deputy leader of the United People's Party. And then the National Alliance will be starting a radio program or a podcast every Thursday at 8 p.m. On their Facebook page, National Alliance Facebook page. The reason why is because they need to show that they're together, even though MP Duran is not on the flyer. Just the other three MPs. Yeah, we know this. I just say we know.
Maybe he wasn't there to take the picture, Andrew.
He wasn't there to take the picture, like he wasn't there to sign the coalition agreement last time because he was busy doing something else. But anyway, it's going to be live from their page, 8 p.m. Every Thursday, starting this upcoming Thursday. You know, our political parties are going to start to do the business of the informing you during this campaign season. So might as well I get you ready for it. And lastly, I believe that the USM will be starting back on the talk show stinging Mondays every week. Starting next week, I believe, or the week after. I don't know. But it's coming. So there you go. 3 political announcements. Now, this morning, a very extensive meeting took place in the Central Committee meeting concerning GEBE. Where are the results? What is going to happen? And of course, the star was the Prime Minister, Luke Messalina, who get a cutas from his own coalition members. Eventually, Dr. Luke Messalina was very adamant to let us know that what we're going to do is we are going to get generators, and we ordered some generators, some 8 to 10 generators that are going to come within the next 6 weeks. And in the next 6 weeks, it will be operational, and St. Martin GEBE situation will be stable. And what we also did is order another 10 new generators to be made, and that will be ready in 6 or 5 weeks from now. So then we would have backup to the backup. Therefore, we won't have any problems. I love St. Martin.
But Andrew, the problem is that it still leaves a carbon footprint because it's diesel.
First of all, forget you and your carbon footprint. You know why? Because there's no carbon footprint that has stopped me or that has assist me when my house in darkness. Therefore, if I have to pick between carbon footprint or darkness, I'm picking GB.
And then in the next 10 years, we
20.
Not okay. No, let me be going too far. In the next year from now, hurricane come, mash up those generators. Then we back to we back again.
But
the same nonsense.
Partner, it insured.
Okay.
Duh. So
But
we're going to get new generators again. You think Dr. Luke Messalina don't think? Stop it, man. USM all the way.
okay. Okay.
I know. I think it was a practical solution. I don't like the fact that they.
Why it takes so long? Because during our meeting, the member of parliament of everything, because he ain't a minister no more, so we are calling him the MP of everything, stated, but if there were no risk involved and the report couldn't have been shared, and he was stating that to, I think, the interim director, why didn't these guys execute that 6 weeks ago? Why did it take for them mentioning stuff on Facebook, bringing it to the press, for them to make a decision? So moving forward, this is how that government would operate. If you understand what I mean?
Yes, they like outing fires before the fires even start. And even though we know that a fire is going to start, they don't do any type of research to find out what can stop a fire from occurring. They just wait until it happens, and then they go like, let's not play stop playing politics.
But politics was played today in the House of Parliament because you had some MPs, I call no name, no blame, had information and others don't. And then Silveria do so. Silveria, hey, I ain't gonna lie, let me be honest. Silveria inspired us today. Why she got so much of votes previously to the current election. She spoke with enthusiasm. According to the Sister Act 2, she had accuracy, tone, and pace. No, that was Lean On Me, I think. I don't even remember. But she had that gusto.
Yeah.
She got it back.
That would happen when you're in opposition. It always happens to her. Every time she's a brilliant opposition member, because then she just goes on the attack, could counter good, because, she's in the opposition mode. She's in governing mode, she's like a Chris, lame duck. So, I wouldn't say she's made for opposition, but I'm saying that she needs to do a better job when she's in
that fire then.
Yeah, the fire is out now, because when she goes into governing mode,
she know what to do.
She know what to do, but her speaking skills, people would then advise her, hey, you're coming across too harsh. Hey, You're being too aggressive. A, you're being emotional. A, why you being so upset with the world when that's just how she is? She got a mean resting face. So that's a normal thing. That's how we know her. That's the silly everybody knows. When it comes to opposition now, she goes, and everybody like, yes, yes, that's how DQ silly, yes. And it's like
DQ or Colby?
Colby
silly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Colby
Depends
can't
on,
be
it depends on who want to claim.
Well, the dirty water still running down her road. I upset. You fix that quarter, I can be vexed with you.
You got to report that. Talk to me.
Wait. You know what we gotta do? We gotta go backwards. You remember how everybody was roughing up the governor? Oh, the boy, the quack, quack, every that's quack, 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 quack. They just talking. No substance. We got substance today. Andrew, allow me to read this wonderful article. A notice ain't getting published. Guilty without a sanction. You are still convicted of a crime. Supreme Court rules. Are you like going to the Supreme Court? Okay. The Hague. Is someone convicted if a court finds a defendant guilty and punishable but does not impose a sanction? The Supreme Court considered this question, Tusahakis, between brackets, in the interest of the law after the Common Court of Justice in Curacao ruled that in such circumstances, defendant does not become a victim. Now, there is clarity. A conviction that does not contain a sanction like imprisonment, community service, or a fine is a conviction for a crime as described in Curaçao's National Ordinance Integrity Candidate Minister. After the Court of First Instance and the Common Court of Justice arrived at the opposing conclusion about this issue, Edwin, last name is Edwin, Solicitor General at the Supreme Court, filed for castation in the interest of law. The court has now ruled that the declaration of guilt that does not include sanctions are in fact convictions. Woo! Hold on, they getting hot. In 2021, Edward Bram was nominated as a candidate for the post of Minister of Justice in Curacao. It soon became clear that Bram was not going to get through the screening because a court in Amsterdam has sentenced him on May the 30th, 2002, for having sex with a 16-year-old patient when he was working in the Dutch capital as a general practitioner. The court declared Bram guilty and punishable, but did not impose any sanctions. Bram withdrew his candidacy, went to court in an attempt to clear his name. After the Court of First Instance ruled against Bram, the Common Court of Justice came with an opposing decision on July the 4th, 2023, ruling that Bram had not been convicted in accordance with the description of sentence for a crime in the ordinance Integrity Candidate Ministers. Because of the Supreme Court ruling, Bram's future as a minister in Curacao is toast. Tu sabe? It's toast, it's gone. The same is true for the rejected candidacy of Party for
Progress.
ministerial candidate Rayan Peterson, who was on appeal, found guilty of a confrontation with a driver after a traffic incident in 2018, but the court did not impose any sanctions. When Peterson failed to get through the screening and therefore was found ineligible of the Minister of Public Housing, Urban Planning, Sovrami, he asked Governor Bailey in writing for an explanation, with the Supreme Court ruling that has now become a moot point. I don't want to read the rest because I find I was reading enough.
Break it down.
Want to break it down?
Break it down for those who don't understand.
He can become a minister.
Yeah, okay, but we had known that already.
Good. What do you want me to break it down for? I think I read it in layman's terms.
I'm just saying that this decision will basically set a precedent.
It's going to set a precedence moving forward, and you know that, Andrew.
And
because now you know, right, if you did anything in the past,
They're going to come back to bite.
They're going to come back to bite.
That's it.
So if you're thinking about running, if you're thinking about putting yourself on a political list, as you saw here that I just read, in 2023, the man trying to become minister. They went back to 2002.
Yeah.
So 21 years ago.
Yeah.
You understand? So, know what you're doing.
You hear?
Before you put yourself up for that scrutiny, because when I read it, I was like, whoa, they even throwing shots. Do you understand? We will post the link so you could go read it. The Supreme Court ruling, this has now become a moot point. Like, hush your mouth, go along, don't come back.
That's usually what the Supreme Court does. You hear, Lisa? So do a little bit better.
It's sad. And then, so that was one aspect. So for all of you who was getting on vexed with governor, take a chill pill now.
But what about the people vexed with Lisa?
Which Lisa? Who that be now? What she do now? Who's that?
Alexander.
What she do? I ain't see that one.
You didn't hear that one?
I see her say, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yes.
So what she do now?
Apparently, some people had, paid her to do some paperwork, immigration paperwork, and then she didn't pay them back.
So she
She didn't execute what she was hired to do as a side hustle, because just allow me 1 minute. Say, Martin, for those immigrants out there that feel that they need a person to fix their papers. So contrary to popular belief, the system is not completely broken. You can literally Google search how to get papers or documentation in St. Martin, and it will just give you the steps of where you need to go. Most times, you just need to write a letter, send it in, and wait for an answer. But to pay thousands of dollars to persons who said they're going to help you, it's ridiculous. You know, they have people that come away from abroad, so foreigners, come to St. Martin and make a living off of other foreigners who were trying to get papers for St. Martin because, the whole saying about, St. Martin people don't like to wait in lines and don't want to go through red tape. They want everything like that. Just like that, right? Like right away. So other people, they are used to just waiting and checking back and calling and harassing and what going on and hey, it's next week. We usually stick to the appointments. Yes, you wait a little bit, but at the end of the day, who does it benefit? You. So stop paying people to do your damn paperwork, people. It's 2024. Everything's supposed to be automated. And Lisa,
pay the people and back the money, buddy. Hey, pay them back the money.
shit happens.
No, pay them back the money. If you don't do the job, pay them back the money. That's it. You can't be wrong, and
Olivier.
who's that? Oh,
Yeah. Or leave Olivier paid for you. All right.
they got big money.
The report.
You hear the song?
No. Yes, I did hear it. Yeah.
So one of the things, you see, I got on my glasses today because it's a lot of information.
He going in?
I'm going to break it down quickly, right? So everybody's talking. I remember on the previous episodes we talked about the national energy policy, but it got more interesting because I did some research and I found the multi-annual indicative program. They call it the MIP, European funded, right? And the EU support per priority area, right? Guess where? Number one. So number one, they say sustainable and resilient energy. Guess what falls under that? To ensure sustainability of NVGB, you understand? Through the Green Deal. So a cross-border cooperation between Saint Martin and Saint Martin. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. You know how much on the table for this project?
How much on the table?
7.7 million in funding for the European, available for Dutch and Martin. Here's it good. For the transition towards renewable energy and the use of liquefied natural gas. The same LNG, right? The rest of the MPs, other than Akeem, Omar, and MP La Cruz, decide not to do. They didn't want it. They denied it. But in every single report, it's coming back. You understand? It come back in a national energy policy. Now it's coming back in this. And there is money out there to help us fix our problems. If you want, you can Google it. Just Google St. Martin Territorial Multi-Annual Indicative Program, MIP. It's about 14 pages long. So therefore, y'all can read it within 30 minutes or less. And it literally breaks down everything and it shows where the budget is available. What gets interesting, I forget to make a note on it. Hold on. They gave a time frame. 1 second. Oh, yeah. Look at here. The value added of directing the EU funding for St. Martin to sustainable and resilient energy is in line with the Green Deal and clearly identified as a preferred priority area for the territorial program from 2021 to 2027 by the government of St. Martin. Again, we're going back to this. Our problem is we do not execute. You understand?
Good ideas, though.
Come on, we don't execute. You know why? To see a lot of them in there playing cute, right? Fixing up, dazzling up, but they can't execute. We gotta stop that foolishness. Stop playing cute and start to do your work for the country that are you so claiming and desiring, that are you want the position. And when you get the position, you act like a dolly.
What do you want?
Talk to them, Andrew. Tell them again. People of St. Martin, on August the 19th, you got elections coming up. Sit down. Really and truly. What do you want from your members of parliament? What would you like to see from your government? What do you really and truly want in the country that you reside? Like, let me take off my glasses. Like, seriously. Because at the end of the day, guess what we like to do? Buy is Pete Fowler. But Pete ain't there, so we can blame Pete. But we have all the documents in the world because what is interesting, Andrew?
What is interesting?
The problems were there already. The problems that we are facing now were foreseen by other individuals. I listened to a good bit of the interview with Mr. what his name is, Rennie Richardson, is this?
Yeah.
I listened to a piece of it and I was like, imagine that. Imagine that. I said it and he said it too. GB ain't gone nowhere since Mr. Lambert and the good gentleman Brooks. You know what we have to do? Google. Let me Google this. Let me see how much press conferences and all of these interesting conferences, right? The IT department went to. The managing directors and the supervisory board went to for GB from 1995 up until 2023.
And that's the thing.
Let me see if they have executed anything that they learned in those times. And if they didn't, tell them pay back all the money they went to go on, what they call it? In Dutch, they say snoop right sure. Let them go pay back that money because it is impossible. Well, it is actually possible because it happened. But come on, sit down and think while you are in your room, kitchen, living room, maybe in a car. Sit down and just think about that. We have not moved forward as a country for so many years. The reason why we have people that we put in office is about revenge. Revenge. Oh, that one do that. Gotta get him.
Catch you back, I catch you back, I catch you back.
And here's who they catching back. They catching back us as the citizens, us who living in the country because we're not moving forward. Imagine this. It's a good idea. It's a short-term solution. But when we get execute our long-term solution, these things been written since 2014. When are we going to do this? We're going to get more generators. Okay, you know what is happening in St. Martin? It is get simple.
Simple.
It'll be simple. We hot on a topic. Kevin regret. You don't hear about Kevin no more.
No.
You don't hear about nothing about it no more. Which is, we understand. All hot topics. GB hot right now.
Episodic.
GB
Episodic.
hot.
We live in an episodic community, and we just going from episode to episode to episode. We tired of this one, we just move to the next one. Maybe it lasts 2 days, maybe it lasts a week. But for sure, it would be old news.
In a week.
Yeah.
In a week.
Yeah.
In a week is old news, and then we forget about everything, and then on to the next hot topic. We have to stop. We got to tackle situations so that they
But
don't
that's why.
repeat itself. History repeats itself.
But that's
Let
why.
us not be the hazel and the stain. We not donkeys. Nobody feeding us grass. We got to stop it. It's a serious thing, Andrew. Right now, I can tell you guys, politics, not politricks, not politics. Politics is at the all-time low. See the foolishness you see, the slogans you're seeing right now. What? Jimmy wash the washing machine? Really? Come on, guys. Come on. Let me get serious about the people's business.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
No, you can't say that either. Because you're tipping people money. That's what people are out there saying. They pay you for a service, but you don't deliver. That's wrong. It is wrong. We have to stop. We have to hold ourselves first and foremost accountable before we start pointing fingers. We need to stop it. People that say, Martin, you got one chance. This is a big one coming up now. A big one. What do you think, Andrew?
Listen, we have an interview that's coming up. That's with the Honorable Richard Gibson. He is in the studio. We're going to be interviewing him. So that's it for politics. This segment, when we come back with the interview with Richard Gibson. Cresberg, what you want?
Hey, if you don't know who to vote for on August 19, guess what? If you want a future that excels, put your vote in number 12.
Bye.
At GEBE, we take the safety and quality of your water seriously. Every day, our dedicated sample collectors venture into the field, visiting the places that matter to you: water tanks, school, supermarkets, home, and high-risk areas. Once these samples return to our water quality lab at KB, they embark on a journey that safeguards your well-being. Our dedicated analysts take over, sending these samples to the microbiology and chemistry departments respectively. This is where the magic happens. We test for a range of parameters, and we do this every single day, no matter what, including holidays and weekends. In our microbiology department, we focus on two major tests targeting various bacteria. Confirmation tests are conducted, and we have plans in place in case the results are confirmed. And then we do it all over again, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rain or shine, your water safety never takes a day off. So when you turn on the tap and enjoy a glass of GEBE's water, you can do so with confidence. GEBE, the power to serve.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
And I'll fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to be. Tell me how to wait for. Tell me all that I should know.
Great job, Carl. Thank you. Jeremy, come on up. For the final word in the Spelling Bee Championship, please spell insurance.
Insurance. N-A-G-I-C-O. Insurance.
That's correct. I hope your father can spell Najiko too.
Najiko is insurance. Insurance is Najiko.
Mr. Gibson, thank you so much for coming to the Late Night Show. Of course, you're here ready to go for the upcoming elections. Successful reveal on Saturday. How does it feel, and what's the sentiments that you've been receiving so far coming back into the arena?
Well, thanks for having me on your show, and good evening, late view or late night viewers.
Yes, that's it.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, we had the reveal on Saturday night. It was very successful. The reactions I get are very, very positive. I think people realize that you got to do something different than you've been doing before if you don't want the mess to continue. You need to do something different to get the crises that we have actually in every corner of the island straightened out. And you would notice a trend of bringing back older, experienced politicians.
Yeah, I think you started that.
I did? Oh, good. It wouldn't be the first time I started a trend because experience is everything. You need experience. Experience is like the glue to keep things together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people realize that. That's why from left to right, they're getting these positive reactions of being back, because I've got a proven track record for many years, all my life, of accomplishments. And like Santayana says, if you forget what people did in the past, you're going to make the same mistakes in future. But to select the people who you can count on to doing the right things in the future, go and look back what they did in the past. And that would be a sort of a direction for you to decide who you want to vote for, who you like to see in government. And like I said before, experience beats everything. A lot of people who talk the talk, but there's very few who can walk the walk.
What do you say to persons that believe that the experienced persons or the older folks are the ones that have us in the situation that we're in now? And maybe they wouldn't necessarily pick the decisions that the newer set of politicians made. So it's pretty easy to, go back to the origin and say, well, they started wrong. We're just here to fix it. What do you say to that?
Very simple. What I just said before. Did they walk the walk or only talk the talk? You need to verify, what did they do? What did they accomplish? People who have accomplishments will continue to accomplish in the future. But if they did not accomplish in the past, then all they do is talk the talk and not walk the walk.
Interesting. Okay. Now, this election ahead, there are some key issues that persons are waiting to hear about. GEBE being one of the main issues. A Central Committee meeting took place today. Still taking place, actually, on solutions. If elected, Mr. Gibson, what would be your first act to deal with this GB situation?
First of all, I will not pretend to know everything that concerns electricity or concerns engines and what have you. You need to consult with the engineers, with the people who know. But you need to follow their advice. What happened here with GBE is, quite clearly, they were not following the instructions and advice they were getting from the engineers to keep electricity on. And this is a very serious situation. When I say serious, the entire economy is being held hostage because of this. And I have an opinion about this, and I'm saying, look, I listened to the Prime Minister this morning, and he did a pretty good job, I think, in seeking the solutions with the help of the engineers and all of the reports and so forth. But one thing I missed, what I missed is nothing being said to cure all the harm and all the damages that GB has caused the entire population. I heard them saying that, yeah, you could file a claim. But this is not about filing a claim. This is about you have a concession. This concession puts on you the obligation to provide electricity. That's why you're the only one who have that concession. And you have to see to it that the lights stay on. And if you don't, for whatever reason, then you are in default of your concession. Well, when you're in default, you become liable for damages. And look, I've heard everything this morning except a method, a way to compensate people across the board for damages, because according to the facts as I've followed them, you're talking here not only about negligence on the part of GEB, its board and management, but you're talking about gross negligence, which is something you cannot exclude contractually. So gross negligence makes GEB liable to everybody on this island for all the damages it caused. And it's not a matter of me coming to file a claim for my television set, or file a claim for my iron or my washing machine. What about the travel advisory sent out by Canada, UK, which results in people not coming to St. Martin or going to postpone their travel, meaning less income for St. Martin, meaning less business on St. Martin, meaning less tips for employees? All of those are damages that goes back to the gross negligence of GBE that should be compensated for. A class action suit will take all of these elements into consideration. And in my opinion, GB is responsible and liable for all these damages, not for this iron and washing machine. I think if you care about the people sufficiently, you should also take in consideration the enormous damage that you've done to this economy. And without me saying it to anybody yet, you should be making the offer and telling people, okay, you know something, this is going to last for 3 months. In 3 months, we're going to charge you 10% of your electricity. You got to give back something, only from a humanitarian point of view, from a point of view of you're the cause. And if you're the cause, you should make the effort to make sure that everybody gets some kind of compensation instead of waiting for somebody to start a class action suit, because GB can never have enough money to pay all the damages they caused.
That's correct. Okay. That's an interesting perspective, Mr. Gibson. Well, of course, another area that persons are looking also at is the tourism product. I know that the party has always been a party that's focused on broadening the whole tourism product. To where we are now, with the exception of GB affecting it, how in the short term and long term can we improve the product in your as your side?
I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert in every field about everything.
Yeah.
I want to set it up front. But there are certain basic things that you see, and you ask yourself, well, why? There's a standard in business, a standard with franchisees, with big businesses. You take X percentage of your gross and you pump that back in to maintain your income, to maintain and to grow your income. Okay, now let's look at what we do. When you listen to what Jamaica does, what St. Kitts does, what Aruba does, what Curacao does, millions and millions they use on that same basis to promote and market their islands. Ours, we actually take the position we do it by word of mouth. Well, word of mouth only works up to a certain point. And especially now, you're going to have to address that issue and reserve and put aside more money to market the island. That's a very simple way of getting more people coming to our island. But there are others. I spoke to a lady not so long ago, and she told me that there's a hotel, and they say that they have activities on a Friday night for the guests and what have you. She goes to the activities desk, and she actually goes to this activity that they have on Friday night, and all they had was playing music. Of course, she gone on the internet and criticized the property to death because she says, what kind of activity this is? I mean, so in other words, you need to give more seriousness to your product. Our product has been deteriorating over the years. It has not been improving. I can remember when we were a culinary paradise in St. Martin, and people used to just return because they had such a good dinner here and there. That has gone down. Service. You need to understand you're in the service business, and others are competing with you. When you take, for instance, let me take Santo Domingo, where the actual income per month is about $150 for the average. Here, you know, always like almost $900.
Well, yeah, just about $1,000.
So if you could hire in Santo Domingo 6 people more to service one customer than you can in St. Martin, okay? So in St. Martin, we have to be 10 times or 6 times better than those 6 employees in Santo Domingo. If you don't give that attention to make sure that customers who come here leave with an experience that they cannot get someplace else or is not equivalent to what we give, that's how you improve your product. But if you have roads full of holes and traffic jams and what have you, that's a deterrent for growing the economy. And we need to grow our economy. If we don't grow our economy, we're going to stay stagnant as we are now. And you run into problems of what are you going to do with your pensioners who's struggling with the little pension they're getting, or the average worker who does not get a living wage. If we were to expand our economy, we'd be able to generate the income that you could do that, you could bring them up to the level that they should be. There are reports are telling you that I think it's about 3,000 guilders, or $3,000 or 2,005, somewhere around that area, is a living wage for St. Martin.
Yeah.
Well, that's a far throw away from where we are now. How are we going to get there? Well, you're not going to get there by talking the talk. You have to walk the walk. And walking the walk is going to mean you have to expand this economy. You've got to stop wasting money. You got to get rid of the corruption, right? And build wealth so that you can do what you're supposed to do, namely create a better life for everybody on the island.
Now, Mr. Gibson, you were heavily criticized when you were the Minister of Finance, but still respected for making the tough decision of telling each minister in the Council of Ministers, you cannot spend what you don't have. And everyone saw that as somewhat of, you being a bit too tight with the public funds, because each ministry is supposed to have a budget and things come up. And you were very, very much critical with each ministry, even though you were part of the Council of Ministers. But you were then respected afterwards, not at the time, but afterwards, for having a tight budget and also balance. Do you think we ever get back to that?
You define it as me being tight. And I got to tell you, I wasn't being tight. It's very simple. My mother and your mother and everybody's mother would tell them, you can't spend what you don't have. If you spend more than what you have, what you think is going to happen? It's going to happen what they're saying now, that St. Martin is bankrupt.
Yes.
Because you're spending more than what you have. You got to change your living, your standard of living to meet what you produce. That's why I'm big in terms of growing your GDP, growing your economy, is to generate more income and watch what you spend and how you spend and not waste, okay? That's not being tight. I don't call that being tight. That's doing my job the way the job is supposed to be done. And that's what I did. You know, under our relationship with the kingdom, we have a CFT that supervises your budget.
Correct.
And if you succeed in balancing your budget 3 years in a row, then you can get rid of CFT. Well, when I was there,
did it for 2 times.
I did it twice.
Yeah.
And before the 3rd year come, government fell, and I left. And since then, things went.
And basically, you had to start back over whenever a new minister comes in. So you could imagine the relationship with the Dutch. You've seen that it's been rocky over the years. However, we still make it work because we are still part of the kingdom. Your thoughts on more autonomy for St. Martin?
Well, same thing that I was saying, you get what you earn.
Okay.
You have to show that you can. Look, the Dutch made available for us after Irma a fund of 500 million euro. We don't have to pay back. There's no interest on it. And all they say, go and do your projects. And what happened?
Technocrats.
So, not technocrats. We didn't have the human resources to be able, or the capacity to spend that money. Imagine that.
That's available.
Here is money they give you and say, okay, go do whatever you need, and you can't. That's a serious, serious problem. So when you say you want more autonomy, you got to think about how are you going to get the capacity to handle that economy, that autonomy. You know, 10-10-10, you know, is very active in terms of making 10-10-10 happen.
Correct.
For years I worked on that. I kept conferences with every political party in the Netherlands and Antilles and inched my ways until we got our autonomy. We were supposed to have the same autonomy that the Netherlands and Antilles had. That means that the Minister of Justice in charge of the police and nobody tells them anything, they have to go through him. Something happened. From 10-10-10 to now, it changed.
Yeah.
But that is what was negotiated, right? Why? Because we didn't have the apparatus of the police apparatus, to be able to deal with the crime and all other issues that came because of the justice. So we had to get the Dutch. You get the RST. But the RST and Dutch say, yeah, I'm willing to make my people available to come there, but the Minister of Justice in Holland have to be in charge of them.
Yeah.
And there you see where the shoe sort of squeezes. Why? Because we did not have the apparatus. And I'm saying, at that time, what I said was, well, let's invest in the apparatus. But since they're paying, and it's their people, they say, okay, go ahead and invest. And you don't have the money to invest because we had to start all of these new entities that you need to be autonomous. The governors, the ombudsman,
the audit chamber,
the audit
all
chamber,
high councils,
all of the, and you need the people to man them. You see, you can't go and say you want to be something and then you expect everybody else to furnish you what it is to carry it. That's where we are today too. We still are that position really, because we have not made use of 10-10-10 to build up the human resources that we need to run this country. Look, you know, I started a law school here. Why do you think I started a law school? And not me started a law school. I came with the idea and I organized and make sure it happened and what have you. And we have one person who is about to graduate. She's going to defend her thesis recently. But behind her, there are 20 more. 20 more students in line. Look what that's going to do over the next 10, 15 years for St. Martin. I did this before as a private citizen, fund it myself, get a law school started here at the university, together with the university in Curacao, and we produced Reinhold Groeneveld, who became deputy governor. We produced the ombudswoman at the time, Nilda Ardern. Mavis Brooks. She got her degree from that. So what I'm saying to you is, you could see if you think long term, you cannot think short term. You got to think long term. But look at how tremendously beneficial it is when you do these programs and get our own people in these positions, what it does to you. You know, today we still don't have a judge of our own. We still don't have a prosecutor of our own, right? You're not going to get them just like that by sitting back. And the Dutch is happy to let it stay as this. And it will stay so forever unless you get behind the programs and get it done that are put in place. The same thing holds good for, if you look around, you see we don't have one hotel manager running any major hotel on St. Martin, and we're in tourism since 1962. Isn't that funny? Go to St. Kitts, go to the other islands in there.
It's not even allowed for
and see who the managers are. How come? How come we can't be here that way? It's because we think short term, want to get elected next election, instead of looking forward 10, 15, 20 years down the road and to create those institutions we need by our own people then. And that's how you create wealth. That's how you expand your economy. Why? Because if you have your own people in these positions, they're the ones who be working here, not come and work here 3-4 years and then go back to Holland, take their... Or the economy, when you look at it, who's taking the biggest advantage of our economy? Not us, foreigners. Right? And when they're done, they take the money and they go with it.
And they leave.
How can you create wealth that way? We have to have a change of mind, a change of outlook, a change of, listen, the only way we're going to advance is we have to create wealth for our own people.
And that's why you say that person's we have a mindset of short term instead of long term.
Exactly.
Okay. Mr. Gibson, thank you so much for coming. Any final words? Because I know we do have another interview that we're going to do when it gets closer to the elections. But thank you for coming. And if you have final words, you could do so now.
Well, again, I want to thank you for having me. The key to it is experience. The key is only talk. Or how could you know it's not only talk? And I say, well, go back and see what the person did and see if he walked the walk. And if he walked the walk in the past, he will walk the walk in future. We can't continue doing the same thing over and over again. It's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You got to do something different, all right? Now, you know we have a large percentage of people who don't vote. They're fed up. And I could understand. I'm coming back out of retirement. right? Because if you stand by or sit on your hands and do nothing, like you ain't getting bored, you're not making use of your voice or whatever, things can continue the same way. You have to change. That great percent of people who don't vote, they need to use their voice. They need to change the path. And they, if not, they are responsible for the situation continuing.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Gibson. Very insightful. Until next week, Tuesday. Politricks out.